this in. It's very rare when you kids get to see something that's really, really famous. And as you know, I just sold a Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig ball, but I didn't bring it because it's in my safe. But he brought us a ball from 1944. 1944, there was a war going on. It's called World War II. Some of you will study that in school. It was 1 year, just a little less than 1 year after Pearl Harbor, when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor without warning. Anyway, what happened then, most people of military age went into the military. Major League players went right away and volunteered to fight for their country. While they were in Hawaii, some of the men that were shipped in the Navy and the Army there, they created the Army-Navy World Series. In real baseball, in America, there were a lot of young people that came up in Major League Baseball, 43, 44, 45. Most of the able-bodied people were fighting in the war, so those seasons weren't that big. But in some places like Europe and Hawaii, they had a lot of Army-Navy guys that were professional athletes. So they had a game, and actually a couple games called the World Series. So this was your father-in-law?
My grandfather-in-law.
His grandfather-in-law gave this to him. And what it says on there, World Series, Army-Navy, Honolulu, Hawaii, 1944. And what's cool, I know enough to be a little bit crazy, but there's Johnny Mize, who's a Hall of Famer, who had 50 homers in the 40s, which he didn't use steroids, and he had a 44-ounce bat. You got Bill Dickey, Hall of Fame New York Yankee catcher, number 8. As you all know, probably Yogi Berra also wore number 8. It's the only number that's been retired twice by the same team. And as you go on, Dom DiMaggio. Now that's not Joe DiMaggio. He was stationed in Europe. Dom, his little brother, who was a better fielder than Joe, is on here. So the little DiMaggio is on here. But I just wanted you all to see that's an actual 1944 Worth ball, and that was one of the balls that Major League used. It's signed by all those people. So let's give a nice hand to Mr. Curran for, why don't you come and get it, Coach, before I drop it. To let us share a piece of history, because you're not going to see many, thank you very much. We're not going to see many things like that anymore. I have a collection of 1,500 balls that are autographed, and I have some from the 1800s. They're not autographed. And then I have some from the early 1900s with Christy Matheson and Honus Wagner on them. You can barely read them anymore, but what he has to do is put it in a room with no light, because eventually, if you have it in light, the signature will dissolve. But all mine will go to the Hall of Fame, because they're all Hall of Fame balls. And I've been collecting since 1947 and been lucky to get a few of these kind of things for my collection. So thank you again. We really appreciate it.